All right, how's it going? It's Josh Farris here with Atlas Real Estate and Investment in San Luis Obispo. We're going to be giving you the December 2021 real estate update here for the Central Coast. We're going to be talking about some important things. We're going to be discussing some statistics that we've seen and where we have been, and then where we might be headed as we enter into 2022. Now, if you've been out there either buying, selling, or investing, you'll know that it's definitely a seller's market. Inventory is low and it's tough out there for buyers. There's multiple offers in most cases. But we're going to talk about what you can do as a buyer to increase your chance of getting your offer accepted, and then some important things that you can do as a seller to make sure that you can sell your home for top dollar and with the best terms possible, especially if you're going to be contingent on finding a replacement property. That's a very important one, and one that I've dealt with many times here this last year. So if you are on YouTube, make sure to like and subscribe. Your support means a lot. Leave a comment in the comment section below, and let's go ahead and get into it. Keep this short and simple. Your December 2021 real estate update for the Central Coast. All right, so what's a great predictor of the future? Well, usually it's the past. So this whole last year, we have seen definitely a strong seller's market. We're going to be taking a look at the active listings. We've seen a reduction in the active listings, which has, of course, brought down the inventory month supply. When we see less active listings, lower month supply, typically that means that there's an inventory issue. We don't have enough inventory for all the buyers out there. We're going to be talking about why that is, but we're also going to be talking about what that's done to the median sales price and what that has done for the median days on market. Now, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to be going through these. These are numbers, these are statistics, but it's important to understand, it's not that exciting, but it's important to understand. And then we're going to talk about what these numbers and these charts mean for you if you're a buyer and a seller or an investor, and then how you can utilize that to your advantage. All right. So let's first go ahead and pull up the chart for new listings. Now, new listings is fairly cyclical in regards to the real estate market. We'll see in December we have the drop in new listings, which means that fewer sellers sell their homes in the month of November, December, and entering into January. Now, that's pretty typical throughout all, the last decade or even longer than that. And so we're seeing the same trend happen for this year, where we have seen a reduction in the new listings, and they have definitely gone down. So new listings December 2021, 171, December 2020, 214, December 2019 was the lowest actually, with 150 here for the San Luis Obispo County for new listings. Okay. Now let's talk about a really important chart here. Now that is active listings. Let's go ahead and pull that one up, and we're seeing that for the last 3 years or so, from 2018, we have seen a drop in active listings. So listings that are on the market, which is going to be a direct relation to the days on market, to the inventory month supply. But we're taking a look here. Active listings is quite a bit down, which is something that we need to address, right? There's not enough inventory, and the inventory that is out there is getting bid up quite quickly and going pending quite quickly. And so when we take a look at the days on market, we're going to see that it's very low. Now, typically here on the Central Coast, the median days on market in a normal year, we might see about 20 days, 25 days on market. That wouldn't be uncommon. If you were shopping for a home in 2015, 2016, 2017, expect that some homes are going to sit on the market for a couple weeks, sometimes a month before they are sold. Now, what we're seeing here is quite the opposite. New days on market for November, 8. Days on market for October, 8. Days on market for September, 8. So going back 3 months, we've seen the days on market really be quite low, and the chart reflects that. And what that means, and remember that just to get through one open house, maybe a couple showings, negotiate out some offers. That means you're probably receiving offers if you're a seller within the first 2 or 3 days. And that's what I've noticed with the listings that I have. Typically right when it hits the market, we've got requests to show, and within the first couple days, if it's priced right and it's a good home, we're gonna see 4 or 5 showings within the first day. The second day, about the same. The third day, maybe a little bit less, 3 or 4. But out of those, we're gonna see 3, 4, 5 offers, in some cases 8 offers, 9 offers. It really just depends on where it's priced and what kind of home it is. So what we've seen, on a side note, is we have seen an increased attention in kind of starter type homes, right? We've also seen increased attention into single level homes. And what that means is, at least my opinion, from my anecdotal experience, we've seen a lot of retirees move here to the Central Coast, and they want a single living home. So that's something to keep in mind. Now, at the really high-end homes, which I would consider, more on the luxury end of maybe 2 million, 1.5 million or so, those we have not seen the kind of drastic increase in prices that we've seen in some of the other home price tiers, okay? So that's just a quick side note for us. All right, so what does that all mean when we take a look at the days on market, the inventory, the month's supply? We're gonna see an inverse reaction for some of the other charts, like the median sales price and the median percent of original price received. So as we see the inventory go down, right, and we see the days on market go down, typically we see the price go up. And we see that in the median sales price, which we'll pull up the chart right now. And we'll see that the median sales price, November 2021, $775. October 2021, $797. And September 2021, $757. So we haven't seen a drastic increase, but if we compare that to last year, we are seeing quite an increase in the price, and we're seeing an increase all across the board for the most part, except in that higher end home, the luxury homes above $1 million, $1.5 million, and also in the condos. The condos haven't quite increased as much. It's mostly those starter or those kind of step up homes is what we call them. Those typically are seeing the highest increase and the most attention there on the market. So if you are a seller, what can you expect to sell your home for? Well, the median price of original price received, the median price of original price received will tell us. It's about 100%. So if you price your home correctly, you're probably going to get the asking price. And if you're a buyer, expect to pay the asking price if it's been on the market for a couple days. And I don't suggest, unless you really have great terms or the buyer or the seller is looking for something particular in your offer, you're probably not going to be able to go much under asking price. So just keep that in mind. It's an important chart for us to see, and we've seen that creep up over the last few months. All right, so why is that all happening? What are we seeing? Well, like I said, anecdotally for myself, a lot of people are moving from the Bay Area, moving from Los Angeles, and they're moving either to retire here or they're working remotely, and they can work remotely. And so they'd like to pick here, the Central Coast. It's a beautiful place to live. Now, we don't have as many high-paying jobs here, but if you can work remotely and maybe your job is based out of LA or San Jose, then that makes it that this place is actually quite affordable. So that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of that increase, right? A lot of people are wanting to get out of the big cities, and they're wanting to move to smaller areas that are more scenic, that are more conducive to their lifestyle. We're also seeing that a lot of people are wanting more yard space. They're not wanting really tight townhomes or condos or places that don't have a large yard. And we're seeing that because a lot of people are working remotely, and so they're wanting to have some space, they're wanting to have a little bit more comfort. We're seeing that people are looking for more square footage typically, so they're not looking for 1,000 or 1,200 square feet, they're looking for maybe 15, 16, 17, 1,800 square feet, and even into that 2,500 square feet if they're looking to buy a home. So that's something to keep in mind too. It's interesting, anecdotal, that I have seen. I've worked with a lot of the buyers that are moving to here, the Central Coast, from out of the area. And with that remote work, you know, the retiring and the remote work, that's increasing the value of here on the Central Coast. So another thing to talk about is obviously the rates for loans, right? So not a lot of people buy their home in cash, and so it matters what the rate is. And the mortgage rate now is quite low, as anybody who's looking out there to buy a home can see. And so what that really does, and this is, I think, a great answer: should you buy a home or shouldn't you buy a home? Is the market going to crash? Is it not going to crash? Well, you need to be mindful. Are you a flipper? Are you going to renovate a home and then sell it? There you need to be very mindful about how long it's going to take you to renovate and flip the home. You need to be very mindful about the market. Are you a developer? That's something to keep in mind too. Well, if you are a single family home owner, what really matters is your monthly mortgage, right? So if you can afford it and your monthly mortgage is good, then it's a great time to buy, especially if it fits your other criteria. Do I think here on the Central Coast we're going to see a crash? No, I don't see that happening. I don't have a crystal ball, but one of the reasons why I don't see that happening, one, the government's really propping up the real estate market quite a bit with offering a lot of incentives and help with people buying property. And I think that's going to continue along in the future. And then also I think that with the low interest rates, they're just not going to increase dramatically over the next couple years. And even if we do see a little bit of a softening, which I think we might, I think it might be a little bit more of a buyer's market in 2022. I don't think we're going to see that drastic decrease here on the Central Coast. Why? Because we're going to have a lot of people that are interested in moving here from out of the area, the LA area and the San Jose area. And a lot more people have noticed the San Luis Obispo County area when they were during the last couple of years during the COVID situation, and they were looking for places to move, possible places to move. So it's really not that far from LA and from the Bay Area, and a lot of people who live there, like I said, are looking to retire here, move here, work remotely. So that's why I think the San Luis Obispo area, San Luis Obispo County is going to continue to see that increased demand over the next couple of years. But are we going to see some softening? Well, it just depends on the inventory that comes on the market. And I do think there's going to be some more inventory that comes on the market come springtime. So that's my suggestion, really. If you are a seller, now's a good time to sell. I just put a listing on the market a few days ago, and immediately we had multiple offers and we went pending right away. So if you are looking to sell, now is a good time. I would suggest trying to sell before the springtime, because typically in springtime there's a lot more new listings, as we can see by the chart, and typically that means that there's more competition, more option for buyers out there. So if you are going to list, you've already decided that's something you're going to do, I would suggest doing it, you know, between now and springtime. You know, during Christmas time it's a little bit tough, but prepare, you know, sometime maybe in January if you're thinking about that. And try and do it before everybody else does in springtime, April, May, which is typically what people list their home. If you're a buyer, what I really suggest doing is being pre-qualified. You really need to be prepared for buying a home. Most of the time, sellers are not going to be taking a look at people who aren't pre-qualified or don't have a good sizable down payment. If you don't have that, you know, save up. You know, unless it's an emergency and you need to move into a house right away, then save up. Have a good size down payment. Make sure that you are well prepared, and that's really important. If you are a contingent seller or buyer, that's going to be a little tricky. So really make sure, I suggest having those contingencies in place of finding a replacement property. I have helped quite a few people out with selling a home and then finding a replacement property. Selling the home is the easy part, but finding the replacement property is a little bit tricky in this market now. So that's something to keep in mind. With the inventory being low, you need to be very mindful about finding a replacement property and giving yourself time to do that. So maybe saying, hey, if you're a seller and you need to find a replacement property, give yourself 45 to 60 days to find that replacement property. I hope this brought you some value. If you have any questions, reach out to me. Be happy to meet you and talk to you about selling your home. If that's something you want to do, we offer free complimentary broker price opinions, give you some listing presentation tips. And if you're a seller and you want to talk to me about buying a home here on the Central Coast, just let me know. I'd be happy to meet you for coffee. I'd be happy to talk about what your goals are and what you can do to be best prepared to reach those goals during this time. And like I said, if you're an investor, I love helping investors, so feel free to reach out to me, ask me about my off-market investment opportunities, or stay tuned for that next video and sign up for our newsletter. We do send out off-market opportunities to people. That's an important value add that we give. Hope this brought value. Talk to you later. See you on the next one. Bye now.